Hello YouTube, today we're going to make a bowing machete like this out of a hacksaw blade like this. I got it from a big wood cutting company, and this material, I think, or I guess in my opinion, it's a very nice material for machetes or even sparring swords. Extreme good for sparring swords or small knives or whatever you want to make out of it. Chopping tools, very good chopping tools or cutting tools for wood. Here, an example for a sparring sword. As you see, extreme flexible steel. It's a spring steel, tempered to about 50 HRC and about 350 degrees Celsius. This is why it's very good resistance for against temperature. So this blade has no problem with getting over 200 degrees. It doesn't weaken at all. And we're going to cut out the machete out of this. First of all, we're going to take it down, or I'm just holding it down, and draw it with a pencil or with a waterproof marker. And the back part here I'm going to cover with a nice wooden handle and then with a leather wrapping, so it doesn't matter if it's the beautiful steel or the ugly piece of the steel. It don't matter. And I'm going to start, as I said, with drawing it and then cutting it up with an angle grinder and then simple cutting disc. Okay, now that I draw it on the sheet metal, on the saw blade, and as you see, I made it a bit different than the template, because that's why I don't glue them on, because if you see it on the saw blade you can make some changes or whatever you want, and I wanted to make it a little bit longer, about 2 inches. And now with the angle grinder and a simple 1mm cutting disc, I'm going to cut out the preform. Here I left some space, cut all along the lines, and then we're going to refine it on the belt sander and with hand grinding tools, with the drill grinding tools. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to start cutting. Use this. Okay, I'm gonna cut off the rest, the teeth and the handle, and then we start grinding. Okay, ready to grind. Belt sander and refine the profile. Maybe start beveling, drill the holes. I drilled 3 4mm holes in there, but first of all I'm going to refine everything and deburr it a bit so it's not as sharp everywhere, cutting edges. Yeah. Okay, now for the finger groove I'm going to use a special, about finger thick grinding tool, using a simple drill bit to round out this portion here. Okay, now we get the curves perfect, or pretty much, pretty good. We're gonna drill the holes. It's not, they don't need to be as perfect. Okay, now all the holes in. Now we can start deciding how far we make the bevel and which kind of grip we're gonna get onto it. Now that I marked them on the wood, I'm going to cut them out on my bandsaw. Okay, now we're ready for beveling, and you can, all the steps I did with my belt sander, like regrinding these forms everywhere, you can also make with a flap disc or grinding disc and your angle grinder. So you don't need a belt sander for this tool to make it. And yeah, starting with an 80 grit up to 120 grit, and then the front edge grinding with a 400 grit, and then with a buffing wheel, and we get a real nice sharp thing. And I'm gonna make a convex or a rounded flat grind. That's first flat and then rounded, slightly like an axe, because it's for chopping and it needs to get a good strong edge. So edge overall will come blade straight down like this. Then we get a flat grind, and then I'm gonna start making it round in like this, and close up. If you look at it, gets a real nice round edge here. Okay, now that it is already razor sharp, and I say razor sharp, I mean razor sharp, but we're gonna buff it. Okay, now we have this final sharpness reached pretty good. As you notice, just cut the cloth, it just falls by itself. So, that's way sharp enough for a machete. Now mount the handle. Okay, and now it's the same with all kind of knives, machetes, or whatever you're gonna make. Before you glue the handle scales onto it, you're gonna finish the front surface, because then you've done it and then it's perfect. And then you don't need to look for both sides the same or anything, because it's automatically. And it's very easy and very nice to make it this way. So now I'm gonna pre-cut it with a saw and then grind it and finish it up, the front side, glue the handle scales onto it and finish the handle completely. Okay, now that I've grounded nice surface with a 240 grit, both sides are very even, with a nice chamfer or bevel on it, and yeah. Well, I'm going to glue it together with the 2-component epoxy glue, and then see you again when refining the handle. Okay, one nice trick I have when I've glued the handle on and the epoxy still is not set full, so it's not completely hardened. I can press my fingernail into it, but it stopped sticking, so it's not sticky anymore. And now here, the overdone glue, just too much, which is pressed out by the force the clamps. I'm going to use a sharpened wooden piece and start digging in here and start rolling out the rest of the glue. Just keep a tiny rolling. Yep. It looks pretty nice, you can see it. Pushing it out. As long as the epoxy is not fully set, it's not as hard and not as sticky. And that's a pretty nice way to get all the glue away here without any solvent or any solution necessary or anything. Just a little bit work at the right time, and then it's pretty much an extreme nice finish. Okay, now I wait to set for the epoxy about an hour, and then we're gonna regrind it. Okay, now that I've grinded the finger groove with my Dremel tool and 120 grit bit, I'm gonna do the rest on my belt sander, but you can also use normal hand tools like files, rasps, sandpaper, whatever you have. Also can use a cutting knife or whatever to shape the handle up to the metal, up to the tang. And yeah, then we do the leather wrap and some cutting tests. Okay, now that I've ground the handle pretty nice, pretty good form, just with 120 grit finish, that's way enough, because the leather wrap is the final finish. And yeah, now a 2 centimeter strip of black leather I'm gonna glue it around with a lot of super glue, and then we're gonna go for cutting tests. Let's go and try test how sharp it is. Okay, should be good. Now it's got pretty dark out here. Hope you can see it. First of all, we do the all known bottle cutting test. Only one hit. A very bad edge alignment. And as you see, this is how a cut should be. Try another one. Better than the first, but as you see, not a perfect cut at all. So, okay, now let's try this wooden piece, which I also already used for the sword testing. As you see, machete. Something way different. It's made to chop and bites into like crazy. So chop down a tree or something like this. Machete, always pretty useful. Okay, that's it. Hope you liked my video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, and thanks for watching.